The first race of 2025 took place at this very racetrack here in South Boston, Virginia. And tonight we return to this 0.4-mile short track in Central Virginia to run the sixth race of the season in the BodyArmor LYTE Series East. Only tonight these guys are going to be racing a little bit more than they did on that cold January evening. It's 63 laps here, and these East Series drivers are looking to do battle once again, looking for another race victory. It's the South Boston 250, race 6 of the season in the 2025 BodyArmor LYTE Series East. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the South Boston Speedway. Had the Sprint Series here last night. I don't know, maybe Alexander Rowe won again over there. I don't think Nathan's recorded that race yet, but he may win again here tonight. He starts in the 8th position, and Alexander Rowe won the last race at Martinsville, and he's been popping off wins like no one's business. He's Blaine Keys this year, even though he's winning all these races essentially in non-rating series, though this is a rating series, and he has done quite well so far, coming into this race second in the championship standings. But South Boston's a bit of a different racetrack than what we've seen so far this season, and we saw the Pro Series race here back in January. These guys, they get up out of the groove quite a bit here, and we might see a couple of yellow flags from this one here tonight. But it's going to be a fun one regardless, and we're excited to see how it all goes down here in the South Boston 250. Joined alongside Hergel Alonso and Matthew Hubert for the call of tonight's event. Hergel, got a couple of drivers in this field as you usually do in the East Series. Christian Vargas, they're starting in the 3rd position, a great place to start. What does he need to do to go to victory lane here in the 63-lap event?
Well, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure we don't have pit stops, right?
We do not.
But, yeah. But, so here's the thing. So, all you have to do is, for me, if I am Christian Vargas, you have to attack this very early before the tires degrade themselves. So, I think there's this situation when I was able to pass Jesse Turner for the win at the very same track when Rockstar Pro Series was a thing, but I'm pretty sure if Vargas or any other drivers, especially when you start on the inside lane, does the same, then I guess you're good to go to win the South Boston 250.
We'll have to see how it ends up shaking out here tonight. And Matthew, of course, you were someone who ran, both of you guys actually ran that Pro Series race back in January, so you know what this track is all about. But I'm looking at Alexander Rowe, Aaron Abel specifically. Those are the two guys who have won the last 2 races. They kind of start deep in the field. What chances do you give those guys an opportunity at another race victory here tonight at South Boston?
Not entirely sure with how the tire wear is and stuff. Aaron Abel starting back there in what looks like 11th. Should have an easier time to try and get his way back to the front. But I wouldn't be surprised if Alexander Rowe, starting in what looks like 8th, tries to get down to the inside lane early and maybe get ahead of Aaron Abel.
We'll have to see if he does that. He's got 3 points to catch up to Aaron Abel in the championship standings, and this is only a 15-race season for these drivers, and we got a lot of races where they're going to be with the West Series, and then races, even a couple of races, they're going to be with the Pro Series as well, so they don't really have much of an opportunity to race amongst each other and get as many points as they can, so nice one of those opportunities. Of course, they do have Ludovic Stratton and Isaac Nichols in this race from the Pro Series, but of course, they do start in the back of the field as Pro Series drivers, but for what we saw in the Pro Series race that we had here in January, you can work your way from the back to the front. Though in that race, the maximum amount of cars we had on track at one time was 12. Tonight, we got 18 drivers on the racetrack at the same time. And they're led by Corey Case there, the number 8 machine who starts on the pole position. Further down in the points sub, we'll check this out. Anthony Hernandez, of course, winner of the opening race in New Smyrna. He's 6 points behind. Ryose Fujimoto, winner at Circuit of the Americas, is 6 points behind as well. Chris Reynolds is 7 points behind. Campbell Marsh, 8 points behind. And Kyle Craven, 9 points behind. Very tight up there in the point standings. Scores 12 points for the race win, 9 points for second, and so on down to 10th. That gets 1 point. No bonus points for leading laps. So it's all about the finish of this race, and we got 63 laps to get there here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. Corey Case and Jared Martin start on the front row. We got ourselves Christian Vargas and Andrew Williams, who is still looking for his first point of the season here. He currently sits all the way back 37th in points. Both of you guys alongside me to call this race are actually ahead of him in the point standings in the East Series. I know, Alonso, you haven't scored any points, but you have a better average finishing position than he does, and therefore is sat higher in the points than Andrew Williams. And, of course, Matthew Huber, you got 5 points in one of the races. I can't remember which one that was, but in one of your LYTE Series starts, you got him there. So, Andrew Williams, I mean, this is an opportunity for him to finally get some points this season. We'll see if he can finally get it done. I called him the championship favorite when the season started, and that was the worst commentator jinx of all time. BB Ruiz and Dylan Matthews in row number 3. Josh Marzak, only points he has this season is from his win at New Smyrna in the second New Smyrna race, alongside our last winner there of Alex in a row. Kyle Craven and Campbell Marsh make up the top 10. There's Aaron Abel, Reggie Fogelman, Ryose Fujimoto, and Joshua Neely, Chris Reynolds and Anthony Hernandez, and then we got ourselves a Dovik Stret and Isaac Nichols starting in the back of the field. Before we get these guys to roll off, I'll let you guys make your picks. Hair Gel and then Matthew, who do you guys think's going to victory lane here tonight in this South Boston 250?
Well, as much as I want to see any of Hergel Motorsports drivers to win, that's not gonna be the case. Corey Case. And yeah, that's essentially my prediction to win the South Boston 250.
Now, the star of the show of the two Jacobs Tour drivers was Anthony Hernandez, who I believe is tied for third in the standings, but that's not who I'm going to pick. It's going to be his teammate starting in 5th position, BB Ruiz in car number 70.
We'll have to see what BB Ruiz can do. That is a great place to start, though. I think we're going to see a lot of shuffling up front, and as I said, we may see some wrecks here tonight as well. They can get a little antsy out there here at the South Boston Speedway, and other than last night's Sprint Series race, is the most drivers we've had on the track at one time at this racetrack, and I didn't change anything in the I&I from what we ran in January in the Pro Series, so it's going to be a fun night here at the South Boston Speedway. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here in the South Boston 250. Of course, Corey Case and Jared Martin both going for their first wins of the season here in the or in the LYTE Series East, I should say. This is not a Pro Series race. Christian Vargas as well, Andrew Williams, BB Ruiz, Dylan Matthews. First winner in the field there is Josh Marzak in the 88. They're starting 7th. We'll see what he can do in the Avalon Motorsports machine, but his teammate there, Corey Case, is going to lead us off here. And watch out for Dovik Stret and Isaac Nichols. Dovik Stret's got a chip on her shoulder from missing the in-season tournament in the BodyArmor Pro Series. We'll see if that gives her some motivation to run well here tonight. Well, it's going to be a fun one. Corey Case and Jared Martin going to lead us off to the green flag, and we're short track racing on a Thursday night in the BodyArmor LYTE Series East here at the South Boston Speedway. Corey Case is going to lead lap number 1 here. Great jump for him. Great jump for all the guys in the inside lane. And outside lane had nothing going for it there. And Jared Martin going to fall back in the 98 machine. Here comes Marzak, and around goes Isaac Nichols in the back of the field. And that's going to be a caution. And the race back to the line is going to be won by Christian Vargas in the 37. But Nichols getting sent around in the 88 machine. The Pro Series 88 machine, not the 88 driven by Josh Marzak tonight. And already a quick yellow flag here at the South Boston Speedway.
Well, it is what it is. This is the nature of the this is the nature of the track. But hey, I can't really blame this guy trying to be aggressive and gain position as much as they can. So I understand why they did that and bring contact.
Well, the good thing for Isaac is to still be able to continue on in that 88 machine. Just a minimal amount of damage on that car. But it will set us up for a restart here at the South Boston Speedway. All right, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring it out here in the South Boston 250. Didn't get back to racing here. The 6th race of the season in the BodyArmor LYTE Series East. Well, 3 wide here at South Boston, especially off the exit of Turn 2. It's always the trouble spot is the exit of Turn 2. Reggie Fogelman getting bumped there by Campbell Marsh in the 6, and Isaac Nichols just an innocent bystander in that one. He's the one that gets sent around in the 88 and scraping the inside wall and then gets sent back around the other way. And that was enough to trigger the yellow flag. Kind of a minor incident there, but some guys kind of going up there. Joshua Neely in the identical-looking car. This is the East Series car there for Interests Motor Racing. But Isaac Nichols spun around, though he will still be on the racetrack and on the lead lap after this incident here from South Boston.
Rewind at South Boston Speedway is a bit difficult to do there. Campbell Marsh trying to do it forcing Reggie Volkman on the way high lane, and unfortunately the innocent victim is Isaac Nichols, who is unfortunately one of the drivers who hasn't had the best of luck in the Pro Series so far.
And though he wasn't going to get any points for the Pro Series here tonight, or cannot get any points for the Pro Series here tonight, and definitely not the way he wanted to start the race, though, like I said, he will still be on the lead lap, and all these guys will, in fact, still be in it for the win here at the South Boston Speedway. So Christian Vargas leads it in the 37. Let's see what he does on the restart here in the South Boston 250. We're back here at the South Boston Speedway. Christian Vargas is leading the field in the number 37 for your team here, Joe. I know you like to see that. Then it's Nicholas Amadeu's team, Corey Case, Josh Marzak trying to get his first point since New Smyrna back in January. Kyle Craven, BB Ruiz, Aaron Abel, Ryose Fujimoto, Jared Martin, and Chris Reynolds with Ludovic Schratt rounding out the top 10. And a restart here at lap 8 of 63 there. Everybody still on the lead lap, including the 88 of Isaac Nichols, who got sent around there. Good jump there for BB Ruiz in the 70 to the inside of Kyle Craven. An orderly restart for the top 3, and again more contact. Ryose Fujimoto around, and Charrette's going to get put on the wall, and there was Andrew Williams as well in the 99, and a second caution already. We're back at Bristol.
Of course Andrew Williams got caught in it.
Oh,
and they're still wrecking Alexander Rowe.
Yeah, he got into Charrette right there, and he's falling back. And Andrew Williams just ran into the back of Ryose Fujimoto, and more damage on the 99, and I don't think I've seen a worse season out of anyone up to this point. Now, the good thing for Andrew, his Cup Series team's doing well. Of course, he got that Walmart Cup Series win with Duncan Ward. It doesn't look like he's going to get it here. We had a pass for the race lead in that exchange as well. Corey Case now out front in the 8 machine. Took it back away there from Christian Vargas.
At this case, it looks like I'm watching some sort of Master Jam, but on AG the channel whatsoever.
We're watching Dirt Extreme again. That's what we're watching.
Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me that I finished on the podium there.
Yeah, he had a good run. Well, we'll see who finishes on the podium in this one if we ever get to it. Let's see what happened to bring on our second caution of the night here in the South Boston 250. Rogel's not going to be happy about this one. His two teammates there getting into each other there. Dutch Atlantis Racing. Ryose Fujimoto getting spun there by Chris Reynolds off the exit of turn 2, and this is the same trouble spot we saw Reggie Fogelman have with Campbell Marsh and all those guys, and Chris Reynolds getting caught up, and Ludovic Schratt getting a pop right there in the 00 machine, the other 00 machine. You know, it's actually very fascinating. Ludovic is the one that has both 00s and both 88s, because the 88 of Isaac Nichols is the Intersys Motor Racing for the Pro Series, and obviously they have a LYTE Series 88 as well, and then the 00 is also Intersys Motor Racing, or Quebec Racing Team King Fast, but still same organization there, Ludovic. And Ludovic getting caught up in that one. And then Alexander Rowe in the 40 machine right here in the middle. We expect him to be good this season, and we expected him to be good in this race, but not off to a good start. As he's going to spin Ludovic Schratt around. Of course, Andrew Williams, I should say, got caught up in the back there. But I mean, we're so used to that at this point, unfortunately, the poor dude. And yeah, into the corner on the cooldown lap. Alexander Rowe taking out Ludovic Schratt, putting her in the outside wall. That is not what you do. Those are two very good drivers there, getting into each other there. And then Andrew Williams, even though he got caught up, going to ram back in the Fujimoto right here, as they were jamming up trying to avoid Alexander Rowe. Well, Andrew Williams was not jamming up. He just ran right into Fujimoto there and gained some front-end damage. Tough break there for the 99. But Corey Case back out front. Replayed in real time to get back to racing here in the South Boston 250.
And looks like it, well, Rogeldorn, as you can see, let's just see a little bit of frenzy fire right here. But it also affects Ludovic Schratt there. But as like I told earlier, they're getting the front right there. As we do have ourselves a reenactment of Joe Logano, Matt Kenseth on the cool-down lap right there.
Yeah, that is what that was. Though, unlike that moment, both of these drivers are still going to be able to continue here tonight. Actually, all 18 drivers are still going to be on the lead lap, including Andrew Williams. So, race is still on for the whole field here from the South Boston Speedway. Let's get back to racing here with Corey Case out front here at the South Boston 250. All right, we're back once again. Corey Case has taken the lead back away from Christian Vargas, and he is now back out front where he started. And it's Christian Vargas in second. BB Ruiz is third. Josh Marzak, Kyle Craven, the top 5. And still, everyone is on the lead lap, including Andrew Williams, even with the damage that he has there from getting in the Ryose Fujimoto there in that exchange down the backstretch. We've had like 3 laps of green flag racing so far. We'll see how many we get right here. There goes BB Ruiz to the inside of Christian Vargas as they go down the backstretch. They are very aggressive back in here. Campbell Marsh on the inside of Richie Fogelman, and they're aggressive up front as BB Ruiz goes to the lead from 3rd place on the restart, lead lap 13.
Well, this guy's like I said in the pre-show that this guy's should be aggressive in this race. So when the tire degrades, then that would be the case. Sorry. Damn, I hit touchdown.
Of course, we'll see the tire wear come into effect as this race goes along. Even though it's only a 63-lap event, tire wear does become a factor. Here comes Chris Reynolds in the 04 to the inside of Kyle Craven, but your pick there, Matthew, BB Ruiz. Pacing the field at the moment in the number 70.
Yeah, and ironically enough, this is one of the only clean cars left on the track as, oh look, it's his teammate Anthony Hernandez, who I said is pretty much starlight there for Jacob Anderson's team so far, tied for 3rd place, and another team who's been showing up as of late, Campbell Marsh, they're up to 3rd for Railfan Racing. Unfortunately for Bradley, it's not the guy who he wants to be up there, as Alexander Rose falling back deep in the field.
Well, the good thing for Campbell Marsh, he's still 6th in the championship standings, and he has a mathematical chance of taking the points lead here tonight if he wins. How about Ludovic Charette? She was just put in the wall like 10 laps ago, and now she's 3rd in the double zero. And like I said, she's got a chip on her shoulder from what happened to her in the BodyArmor Pro Series, missing out the in-season tournament. Well, here she is. And, of course, she's the Wall Cup Series champion, driving her alongside these guys. And she has definitely found some speed in that double zero as this race has gone along. But BB Ruiz has led the most laps, but Campbell Marsh has a lot of speed in his car, and he's going to go to the inside for the race lead. Here on lap 21, Corey Case to the inside of Fujimoto, who found himself back into the 5th position. Here comes Ludovic looking for 2nd on BB Ruiz, and Campbell Marsh going to try to pull away here on lap 22.
You know, the damaged cars looks like they have their damage disabled with how fast they are coming right now. Especially Ludovic Charette, this guy. Well, oh, sorry. Well, especially Ludovic Charette when trying to close into the 6 of Campbell Marsh. I know that she can close by, I would say, 2 to 3 laps, but of course, there's still Corey Case and Rocky coming up, even with their cars being totaled.
Ludovic's going to have a shot here at the race lead to the inside of Campbell Marsh, and here she comes, our defending Wall Cup Series champion. She's yet to get a win in the Wall Cup Series this season, but she'd love to get one here in the LYTE Series, and be a good motivational boost going in the Rockingham this weekend for that Cup Series race. Looking forward to the Cheerwine 400 a couple days from now on Saturday. Looking forward to real life NASCAR coming back to Rockingham as well. That's going to be a lot of fun to see. I really have never myself seen a Rockingham race live before in person, so I'm excited for that. Great racetrack. We've been going there in the Wall Cup Series. Been going there in the Cup Series since Season 2 of the Chick-fil-A Cup Series back in 2015. But Dylan Matthews, she's found her way up to 5th. You got Campbell Marsh, who slipped back to 6th. You don't want to get stuck in that outside lane at all, and that's what happened to Marsh and BB Ruiz, and they're now 6th and 7th, respectively. Chris Reynolds is here, Jared Martin, Kyle Craven rounding out the top 10. Alexander Rowe trying to knock his way into the top 10. He's not been able to get there quite yet in the 40 machine. Joshua Neely there in the double zero machine trying to close his way in as well, but of course only the top 10 finishers receive championship points regardless of the series they're in. Corey Case does not want a Pro Series driver to get the win here tonight. He's back to the race lead in the number 8. This is the 3rd time he has been out front in this racing. Here comes Aaron Abel, the Winchester winner a couple races ago, to the inside of Ludovic Charette for 2nd.
I wouldn't really be surprised if Aaron Abel does go back-to-back with the way this race has been going, although we just hit lap 30, almost halfway point, and he'll have to pass Corey Case first.
Well, he's going to do it right here.
Isn't... That's not too hard. Case didn't pass her. Rossi Fujimoto looking for second. Now, usually that car wouldn't even be close to this position, but South Boston is different with damaged cars, and we saw there with Ludovic.
Alexander almost sent it back into the inside wall. He's trying to move his way back to the field, and these guys have just been shuffling all race long. The Campo Marsh is now outside the points, and Andrew Williams has a chance to get his first points of the season. He is still going, and like you said, Matthew, I don't think the game cares that these guys are damaged. It's like we're back at GNC Stunt Road where the damage doesn't even matter, because look at that car about to take the race lead away from Aaron Abel. Dylan Matthews is third. BB Ruiz, Corey Case has slipped back to the fifth position, and now Ludovic Schrett's almost on the outside of the top 10. They just can't seem to find any grip anywhere in that outside lane, and now Fujimoto going to the race lead, trying to get their second win of the season. They got the combination win at Circuit of the Americas against all the West Series drivers as well. Fourth in the standings, 25 total points, only 6 points behind the guy he just passed, and that's Aaron Abel trying to close back in. Dylan Matthews, of course, she has not had the best of seasons at all. 14th and only 7 total points. She is double that where she currently is running in that 64 machine. And Alexander Rowe up to the fourth position, looking to go back-to-back here in the E Series. He's won a lot of races this year. It'd be his 6th win on the channel in the calendar year of 2025. He would go to the top of the wins list for the calendar year if he were to pull this off here tonight. As a matter of fact, he's already there. And he's looking to add on to that. And he's got a good chance of doing so, currently running in the fourth position. Here comes Dylan Matthews for second on Aaron Abel.
Yeah, going back to Rossi Fujimoto, not gonna lie, if I'm being honest, in my 10 years here in this channel, well, almost 10 years, but I do see a lot of potential in him, especially, of course, in the ratings-based series, and with the wins he collected, I do see a potential to be the Japanese version of Virgil Alonso. Dylan Matthews is coming close into Rossi Fujimoto, trying to pass the lead here. Oh boy!
Oh, she almost took him out. Didn't quite do it. I mean, that 4 already has enough damage. What would a little bit more be? Oh my, that was a very late block there to Fujimoto, trying to keep Dylan Matthews behind him. And for third, Alexander Rowe to the inside of Aaron Abel. Great run for Alexander Rowe. Watch out for him as this race goes along. We're on lap 41 of 63 here at South Boston. Everybody's still on the lead lap, even with all the damage some of these guys have. Been a great race up front. We've seen multiple leaders here, and Rossi Fujimoto trying to become the first driver this season to win multiple races this season. But Dylan Matthews going to take advantage of him shoving up the racetrack there, and the 64 now out front here at South Boston.
Imagine if this driver wins here tonight. Dylan Matthews, as we know, has an unfortunate history on the channel, but I'm not gonna say what. Has only qualified for 1 race so far, that being Martinsville, and as you saw, 7 total points here in the East Series. And what a statement this would bring for Dylan Matthews if she can able to hold up Alexander Rowe. What a surprise. He's up to second.
Alexander Rowe might just be him. We'll see if he can get around Dylan Matthews and have a shot at this points lead. Where they currently run, Aaron Abel would still be the points leader going into our next race in the E Series, which will be the showdown race in Memphis in the middle of May. That'll be a combination race there with the West Series, so well, here he comes. Here comes Alexander Rowe. Dylan Matthews shot up there, and now Alexander Rowe looking to take the race lead here at the South Boston Speedway. Before the restart, got into Ludovic Schreck, got into the wall, and now he is the race leader here at the South Boston Speedway. And it is quite obvious that it doesn't really matter where you started for this race to how you finish. These guys are just all over the place in terms of where they are currently running compared to where they started. Ludovic Schreck, she was up front not too long ago. Now she's outside the top 10. You just don't know how it's going to play out, and you can't get stuck in that outside lane. And Alexander Rowe pulling away now from Dylan Matthews as Aaron Abel tries to close in on the 64. I think as the season goes along, I think 2 of the better drivers are going to be Alexander Rowe and Aaron Abel. They both have a lot of experience on the channel, and so does Dylan Matthews. She's just had a tough season to start off here in the LYTE Series. These two guys have definitely come out strong these first 5 races and first 6 races, and Aaron Abel looking to make it 1-2 for those two guys. And Abel's got a nose to the inside, not quite. Dylan Matthews going to hold on there to that position. It's now 13 laps to go here in the South Boston 250 for Alexander Rowe and Railfan Motorsports. Going to go back-to-back here in the LYTE Series East.
At this rate, this is the Alexander Rowe show, but oh boy, he was so close to hitting the outside wall. But going to Dylan Matthews, I believe she is yet to win a race in the channel, or
She's won a few times. She won a couple Sprint Series races last year. I think she won an IndyCar race earlier this season as well. So she's had some success. Aaron Abel's right there. And for the race lead, Aaron Abel to the inside of Alexander Rowe for the top position. Going to make that look easy. Alexander's got to be careful. He still has an opportunity as it's 10 laps to go here at South Boston now for Aaron Abel and NS Racing. And Nathan Stapleton, he's second in the owner's list right now. He's trying to catch up to Derek Hamill in the all-time owner's list. He can have another one here tonight if Abel gets it done. And Alexander Rowe trying to close back in on this 97. If there's anyone who can do it, it's Alexander Rowe. Jared Martin is 4th, Corey Case, Ryosuke Fujimoto down to 6th, Kyle Craven, Anthony Hernandez, Ludovic Schreck, Christian Vargas. That's the top 10 right now. Those are the 10 guys who would receive championship points if they finished where they were. Alexander Rowe might get this win, trying to close in on Aaron Abel for this top position. We now have ourselves 8 laps to go here at South Boston Speedway.
Wow, this is going to be an intense finisher if Aaron Abel can potentially hold off the dominant force on the channel besides basically no one has matched Alexander Rowe's level of dominance. Already has 5 wins on the channel. This might be his 6th win already on the channel, and we're in the middle of April.
That's just this year too. Should be 17th career win, I think, on the channel if he gets it done here tonight. So he's been around. He's won the Daytona 500 back in the day. It's a guy who's been around a long time, and he has adjusted very well to the LYTE Series as he got around Aaron Abel. Abel's got one more chance, though. If Alexander Rowe makes another mistake, he's going to have an opportunity to get to the inside of him, but he might be a bit too far behind at this point. It's going to be 4 laps to go. Next time by for Alexander Rowe and Railfan Motorsports. We're going to go back-to-back here in the LYTE Series East. And Alexander Rowe's got a great opportunity of doing so here in the South Boston 250.
I would love to see Alexander Rowe going back in a World Cup Series full-time charter ride.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah, with the kind of domination that he is having right now. But who knows? Maybe Virgil Motorsports going to sign me. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds for Alexander Rowe, but it's looking bright for him, especially in this series. Now, what it'll be a tie in the point standings. Alexander Rowe will actually break the tie based on wins, and that's going to be very interesting as we go into our next race at Memphis. Aaron Abel's just a bit too far behind. It's now a 2nd lead for Alexander Rowe, and he just can't stop winning. Now, Kenny, going to be a 6th win in the calendar year. Alexander Rowe wins the South Boston 250 here in the BodyArmor LYTE Series East. Aaron Abel will finish 2nd. Jared Martin will be 3rd. Dylan Matthews, Corey Case, Ryose Fujimoto, Kyle Craven, Christian Vargas, Ludovic Schreck, and Anthony Hernandez gets the last point here tonight at the South Boston Speedway.
I don't know what to say. You can't really stop this guy, whether it's in the East Series or the Sprint Series, as we saw in Bristol last week. Mm-hmm. Absolutely schooling the field there. Yeah, I did. But I would not be surprised come September or so, Rowe ends up getting the East Series Championship.
Mm-hmm. The finale going to be early October at Toledo. I think October 2nd, I believe, might be the date for it. And there's a very good chance that Alexander Rowe, he could clinch that race early. Though Aaron Abel's a good driver as well, and he took the lead for a moment, but nobody can get to Alexander Rowe here tonight at the South Boston Speedway. Hey, everyone finished on the lead lap, but poor old Andrew Williams still finished in last place. You know, I think if we went in reverse, he'd be the points leader, but that's not how it works here, unfortunately. What a race it was here. That was entertaining. I'm sure last night's race was entertaining as well for the Sprint Series. And Alexander Rowe gets it done here tonight the BodyArmor LYTE Series East. And how about Alexander Rowe? Can anyone stop him as the season rolls along here in the East Series?
Who else but Alexander Rowe? It is what it is. But hey, if we're going to see Rowe versus Abel at this rate, then that would be biblical. But as for for the teams, I would say it's gonna be between Railfan and NS Racing at this rate. But I would say NS Racing having a better upper better. Not because I'm biased. I'm biased with the United Alliance thingy, but I just see this is going to be one of the greatest rivalries, even in the lower series.
I think it'll be fun. I do definitely think it's going to be a lot of fun seeing those two teams battle. I think NS Racing is going off in the World Cup Series right now, and they actually have a very strong program with their two drivers here in the East Series as well, as we saw here tonight. But Matthew, thoughts on this one? Alexander Rowe, like you said, he might be unstoppable, but do you think there might be anyone who has a chance of getting to him as the rest of the season moves along?
If there's anyone that could potentially dethrone Alexander Rowe, it's Aaron Abel in that 97 car. And I'm saying that because Aaron Abel, he knows what he's doing with the rain stuff. Even though this isn't an owner's rain thing, it's only driver reigns, you have to be good on that front. And I think Abel, Rowe, and potentially even Corey Case might be a wild card to be in the championship hunt.
Have to see how it all ends up shaking out as the rest of the season unfolds. Of course, like I said, the next race is a LYTE Showdown event. I believe that is May 10th at the Memphis Motorsports Park. Doesn't exist in real life anymore, unfortunately, but actually our first time we're ever going there. And LYTE Series East and West will be on the same racetrack at the same time. Last time we had a combination race, the East Series won with Ryosei Fujimoto. We'll have to see if those West drivers have anything for Mr. Alexander Rowe. That'll be very fun. The next LYTE Series race, though, is going to be on Monday at Meridian. That's a quarter-mile racetrack, and that is Blaine Key's home racetrack, and he's going to be in both the Meridian races in the West Series, and that's going to be a lot of fun seeing Blaine Keys on the same track as all these West Series drivers. Will he get win number 30 finally? Hey, he may get win number 30 this weekend. We'll have to see if that happens on Saturday in the Cheerwine 400 at Rockingham Speedway. Absolutely love that racetrack. Absolutely love that race. It has been a staple race in the Cup Series schedule for 10 years, and excited to go back there as we celebrate the Rockingham Speedway coming back in real life as well. We're excited for those races this weekend. A huge thanks to Sergio Alonso and Matthew Huber for joining me here tonight for the LYTE Series from South Boston. And congratulations to Alexander Rowe on his race victory here in the South Boston 250. Here are the points for the LYTE Series East after 6 races. And we will see you guys next time in the LYTE Series East at Memphis Motorsports Park on May 10th. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.